So day 2 of Diddy's trial as he fights a RICO saw his former girlfriend, Cassie, take the stand. And Cassie is the lead witness of this case. A lot of Diddy's future from behind the walls or in front of them will be dependent on how Cassie's testimony went. And man, there's a lot. So what I want to do is just put on the screen Cassie, who, by the way, she very much pregnant. There is no video to this. In New York City, they don't do that for these high profile cases. There's no audio. So I do have a lot of transcripts, and I want to break down as much of Cassie's testimony as I can, because she did give a lot of her version of the story of her relationship with Diddy. She said oftentimes Diddy would mash her head in, drag her, kick her, stomp her in the head when she was down. She testified that her relationship with Diddy was a lot of good, then it turned into a lot of bad, and the bad went to worse with physical altercation. She said if there were violent arguments, it would usually result in some sort of physical abuse and dragging, said Cassie. She further said that freak-offs was the nature of her relationship with Diddy, and it even became a full-time job for her, as Diddy would expect Cassie oftentimes for up to 72 hours at a time to participate in these freak-offs, in which Cassie would oftentimes have sex with Diddy, or other times have sex with a male escort that we've talked about previously already, a part of this trial in which we introduced Mr. Phillips in a previous video. Go check it out. In regards to the freak-offs, Cassie said at first she was proposed by Diddy to engage in the freak-offs, and she said she was just kind of nervous about it. Her stomach fell to her butt, and she further said that she felt like she couldn't say no to Combs because she didn't know what no could be or what no could turn into. She said she learned that Diddy oftentimes handled his situations through violence and blackmail threats. So we're gonna keep going about these freak-offs. Cassie testified in court that the longest freak-off went for 4 days. She testified that the marathon sessions often led to her needing time to recovery from dehydration, fatigue, and drug use. She said these freak-offs oftentimes even would happen on her cycles. She said Diddy didn't care. When he wanted it, he wanted it. She said the first time she even had sex with Diddy, she said it felt like it was a turning point. She said it felt like it made them closer. She thought they were in a monogamous relationship, but in hindsight, she said that wasn't the case. She said a lot of things really went south when she found out Diddy was still very much involved with his ex-girlfriend, God rest her dead, Kim Porter, who Diddy does have children with. Over the time, she said Diddy became controlling and sometimes even more violent. If you made the wrong face, the next thing you know, you was getting hit in the face. She said if she didn't respond to Diddy's call right away, there would be incessant calls until she did. And then Diddy's staff, including security workers, would join in the pursuit of Cassie. She said Diddy was insanely jealous early in their relationship. Keep in mind, there's about 17 years difference between Diddy and Cassie, who apparently met around Cassie being the age of 22. Diddy promised Cassie a music career. She says most of those promises were never met. Be clear, Diddy has 8 attorneys for a reason. They did push back at Cassie, you know, asking her, why didn't you just stop this from the jump? Why did you even get involved with Diddy if there were any inkling in you that it could go left? And she said, you know, Sean is a really polarizing person. He's also really charming. It's hard to really be able to decide in the moment what you need when he's telling you what he wants. She said she just didn't know what would happen if she told Diddy no. She said she used drugs during every freak-off to disassociate herself and feel emotionless, naming different drugs like Special K, GHB, mushrooms, ecstasy, and MDMA. That's like Molly. She said Diddy also used drugs, and sometimes the escorts did too, that they brought in for these, I guess, threesomes, aka the freak-offs. Combs would kind of direct Cassie and whomever was the male escort, for lack of a better term, a part of these freak-offs. Cassie testified that she did not want to continue to have sexual intercourse with Diddy, who oftentimes, according to Cassie, would pee on her alongside the male escort. She said that at one point in time there was so much urine in her mouth. And this is very detailed and graphic, y'all, but this is the trial, y'all. This is what this man is fighting for his livelihood for. You know, this is real stuff, man. She said oftentimes there was so much piss attempting to go down her throat by Diddy and whoever else was a part of these freak-offs that would, again, incorporate Diddy and then sometimes not Diddy and then sometimes other people. She said she would like pretty much vomit at the mouth. She said the drugs kind of made her feel like she was emotionless through it all. Cassie said Diddy would instruct her who to purchase drugs from after the escort finished and calmed, y'all. I mean, what do I want to say? She said Diddy would want it put on his body in the next room. She said usually the male escorts cum would be on Diddy's nipples. There are some text messages from Cassie that definitely bring a lot of questions to the forefront, right? And while she was on the witness stand, she was asked straight up and down, why did you send a text message, or maybe it was an email, one of the two, to Diddy one day in the midst of their relationship saying, I really need to fuck? If you were just this person who had been strung out, beat, and essentially a sex worker, right? She said, I wanted to be with him. And they went on to kind of read more messages. And then Diddy even asked her, you don't want to do this anymore? Referencing the freak-offs. And Cassie said, you know, I'm so predictable. She said, he knew I didn't want to do the freak-offs anymore, but then I backpedaled. And then she was asked why. To make him angry, he could be violent. That doesn't make sense to me. Yeah, so there's a lot, obviously, to this. It's multi-layered. You see Diddy's team's angle, right? Like, you see the angle, like, they want to make this sound as much like a domestic dispute between two consenting partners who sometimes were high out of their mind, who were oftentimes drunk, who had the power. You talk about Diddy's fame. It granted not only Diddy, but his girlfriend Cassie to access to things that just put them on highs that most humans would just never see in their lifetime, right? They're trying to say, Cassie, you were complicit in a lot of this stuff, but you're trying to act as if Diddy was just alone in this, and when the waves were really high, you were down with him. But when things hit the fan, you try, you know, and you were oftentimes the victim in this, you want to act like things were never good, right? Like the good never happened. That's kind of what I took from this. I mean, I'm reading over a transcript. I have a transcript to be as accurate as possible for you guys. It's a lot. Right now, I would say after Cassie's testimony, Diddy probably looks really, really mannish to the court. Here's the thing. Diddy is not on court for being mannish. I'm using one of them old time down south phrases for all my down south babies. Y'all know me. Diddy's not on trial for being mannish. Look, I don't want to start. Look, man, this is how Pharaoh sees it. Like, y'all know how I feel about domestic disputes. I never put my hands on my lady in my life. All right. Obviously, I know a lot of people have, and things have happened. This is not about my personal opinions about a man putting their hands on women or involved in certain acts. I don't get in people's bedroom. What I'm saying to you is Diddy is on trial for essentially a RICO. I don't know if we're proving that Diddy committed a RICO more than we are proving that Diddy is a freak, a control freak that's oftentimes abusive. That's where I'm at with it. Are you really going to be able to put this man away for the rest of his life? Because that's what he's facing if found guilty of these charges. Are you going to be able to put this man away for the rest of his life by proving that he was a power freak that did a lot of weird stuff and stuff that some people won't rock with in their bedrooms, right? Especially to their leading lady. But can you prove that this man is part of a RICO? I guess that's where I stand. Time, love, and support. This thing will continue, and we will be covering it. I don't take it for granted. Salute. I'm out.